So I'm wearing a luxury watch right now that you can't buy. No one could buy it. No one could ever get it except through one very special way. And was it worth it? I don't think so. I'm gonna tell you about this watch and I'm gonna review it. But first, we need to talk a little bit about Hublot. Hublot. I am RNG. This is my watch channel. Thank you for hanging out with me. And let's talk about this watch. Now, watch brands live and die by their history. If a watch brand was involved in some war, if they developed some new technology, if they went to the moon, well, that gives them a lot of clout. And when they don't have that, well, they just have to rely on their quality. Doing something cool can add a lot of value to a watch, and a lot of people are unwilling to buy a watch that doesn't have a strong history. So what happens when a watch company decides that they're gonna make a luxury watch just out of the blue with no history? How are they gonna convince you to buy it? So back in 1980, a gentleman named Carlo Craccio, I looked it up, Craccio. He's Italian, right? He founded a watch company called Hublot, which in French means porthole. Porthole, like the portholes on a ship, right? The ones you look out of. I don't know, that doesn't really scream luxury to me. That reminds me of the steerage down to the bottom of the Titanic, watching the water line rise up. That's what I think about when I hear porthole. You know, that is what the watches resemble. A ring with a glass in the middle and bolts all around the perimeter. Now, Carlo Craccio had a crazy idea. So crazy, I'll either get laughed out of the building or I'm gonna take the world by storm. And sadly, both of those things are true. Not sadly, maybe rightly deserved. See, he thought, what if we take precious metals, gold, platinum, and we mix them with literal garbage like rubber and plastic and synthetics, and we just sell them like they're the greatest thing in the world. And that's exactly what he did. He took a precious metal and he threw a natural rubber strap on it, basically spitting in the face of the watch industry. And he debuted it at the Basel Watch Fair. And guess what? He didn't sell a single watch, not even one, not a single one. Obviously, people were not into the porthole idea. But we forget, this is the 1980s, the age of excess, full of yuppies, stockbrokers, business people making their fortune doing things no one had really done before. The world was inundated with new money, and these people were so flashy. They had no pedigree, they had no background of being rich, and they had no taste. Therefore, Hublot blew up. It was a statement piece, it was expensive, it took the world by storm, and Hublot was a huge success in the 1980s. That was one of the first times since the Gilded Age people loved to use their money to show people that they had money. The bigger and the gaudier, the better. When you're in the nightclub, rocking out to some new wave music and your, mind has been altered by maybe something you experienced in the bathroom. And you hit that dance floor and you got your arms up in the air, buddy, you want people to see your watch. And there was no watch better for that than Hublot. Things rocked along through the 80s, and in the 90s, the world decided to settle down a little bit, regain a little bit of tastefulness, all the way up through the early 2000s. Hublot not big on the scene in the early 2000s. So they got bought out by LVMH. Louis Vuitton bought Hublot. Louis Vuitton, the beacon of tastefulness and class, bought Hublot. Well, they had a plan, and it was brilliant. What if we took these gaudy, weird watches, masquerading as a luxury brand, and we elevated them into even more of a luxury brand and even more of a fashion watch? Because that's what Hublot is at the end of the day. It's a really well-built fashion brand. What did they do? They hired celebrities and athletes to wear Hublot watches. Kobe Bryant wore one, I believe. Lots of people, rappers all over the place wearing Hublot, walking around saying, this is the watch you've got to have. If you're somebody or if you're nobody, this right here on your wrist, well, that'll raise your standing. And people bought it hook, line, and sinker. Hublot dropped the big bang. Look at this freaking watch. Is this watch just not the most perfectly named product you've ever seen in your life? This watch looks like an explosion. It just does. The design of it is, I don't even know that the classic Fusion, the more toned down Hublot watch, it's still just, I don't know. The classic Fusion is the one Hublot that I think has almost a decent design to it when they don't go over the top, but you know, I'm not on board with it. I just think like they didn't screw this one up, okay? They didn't screw this one up. They put out crap like the MP10. Okay, Hublot, we got it. We know what you're doing. Okay, just crazy decision, bad decision after bad decision after bad decision, and they just stumbled their way up the luxury ladder. They don't know how to make a watch, but they kind of know how to run a business. They can make you want to buy a product. That's what business is all about. I can't fault them on that. I can fault them on all the other stuff, but not that, man. They made people want these watches, whereas 10 years before this, no one would have ever been caught dead wearing anything remotely like this. Now, people love to hate on Hublot. Nico Leonard hates Hublot, and that has just spread their notoriety even more.
What is this? It looks like a Hublot. That's not $20,000. That's just garbage. How old is the kid? And he was already f***ed up.
Why though do they hate it? It's not just the bad design. It's the fact that Hublot takes cheap movements and parts that are used in other watches that are like $1,000 and puts them in a watch that costs like $13,000. Imagine if you went and bought a $130,000 sports car, like a freaking Lamborghini or something. I don't know if you can get a Lamborghini for $130,000, but let's go with Lamborghini. And it had the engine in it from a $10,000 2004 Honda Civic. It looks cool, it's impressive, but under the hood, there's just nothing there. If you just want to show off, maybe it's worth it. But to most people in the world, like they would feel ripped off. And that's the thing about Hublot. People that wear Hublot, they don't care about being ripped off. But those of us in the watch community that really appreciate horology and the engineering behind watches, we don't like the idea that Hublot just buys like a cheap movement, the cheapest Swiss movement you can buy, and throw it into some watch that's like plastic and rubber and it has a bunch of like crazy colors on it, and they slap like a gold bezel on it, and then like, you know, it's $22,000. Okay, what? We don't appreciate that. That's why everybody hates Hublot. But in all of that, Hublot did something that is really cool, and I love this idea. Say it's the mid-2000s, you just dropped $13,000 on your Hublot, and you're partying it up at the club, and you maybe, let's say, are under the influence a little bit, and you trip and fall down 44 steps, okay? And you crack your Hublot. Oh no, dude. I'm known for wearing this watch, man. It's my whole reputation, and now I've got to send it in to get serviced. What are people gonna say when they see me not wearing an Hublot? Well, Hublot had a solution to that. You send them your expensive watch, and they send you back a loaner. And that is what I'm wearing right now. The Hublot Classic Fusion, not for resale, loaner watch. You can't buy this. This was only a loaner. It says not for resale on it. The only way to get this watch was to send your $13,000 Hublot off to Hublot to get serviced, and then just sacrifice it to Hublot to keep this. Maybe somebody died. They sent their Hublot off for service, and then they died, and then their kids like never got their Hublot back, you know, and they just had this sitting around, okay? That is the most baller move in the world, and I'll tell you why. This watch is like a $20 quartz watch. It is as cheap as they come. The quality is like barely that of like a $20 Casio. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Could you imagine sending off an expensive watch to get it serviced? They give you this $20 quartz Hublot loaner in the meantime, and you just get it in your head that like no one will ever have this. I'm just gonna sacrifice my watch for it. They can keep my $13,000 watch, and I'll keep this little thing. That's the most baller thing I've ever heard of. Really dumb, but like, talk about spitting in the face of like the watch industry. I love that. And I've got one on. Now, this isn't my watch. This belongs to a family member of mine, and the battery died, and he gave it to me to replace the battery. which ended up being a whole freaking thing. I'll get into it in a minute, but I've got to give it back to him tomorrow. So you get the review today. I've been wearing it for 2 days. I've enjoyed it. It's time to send it back. Now you will see from the pictures of this that this watch is beat up and scratched to absolute hell. It is made out of some kind of cheap resin. I don't even know what it is, but you can like scratch it with your fingernail. The crystal in it, it is not acrylic. It is not hezolite. It is not sapphire. I don't know what it is. It is mineral. I put Polywatch on it and scrubbed it and scrubbed it and scrubbed it, and it did not get any of the scratches out of it. I don't know what to do. So let me tell you the history of this specific watch. He bought it at some auction and paid some undisclosed amount. And these watches go for, I don't know, $2,000 to $12,000. Who knows? Like, there's just no price because they don't really exist, all right? The battery died. I replaced the battery in it. I gave it back to him, and the minute hand fell off. Like it just was spinning freely. So he gave it back to me. I opened it up. I looked at it. The watch has been worked on. Someone has been in it. They screwed it up. They scratched up the hour hand and the minute hand, and they bent the second hand. Okay. They also lost one of the proprietary Hublot screws that goes around the bezel, specifically the one at like the 4 o'clock position. Those screws are like $200 a piece, okay? I looked under a microscope at the hour hand and the minute hand on this, and whoever worked on them, they like bent the little hole, like the part of it that grabs onto the pinion that secures the minute hand and the hour hand to the watch and makes them like friction fit. They're so beat up and they're missing so much metal, there's not even enough metal there to repair them. It's like the metal got torn off, okay? I know they're like, you can get a staking set and you can fix that. I can't fix that. I'm not a watchmaker, okay? I don't know how to fix it. I ordered some Hublot hands that go on a different Hublot watch but fit, okay? These are not the original hands other than the second hand. The second hand on here is real. Also, the calendar wheel is made out of cheap plastic and like 5 of the gears broke off of it. It wasn't working. I replaced the calendar wheel with a white calendar wheel. Okay, I know it's supposed to be black on this watch. This watch is original, minus the one missing screw around the bezel, okay? I have all the parts in an envelope that are going back to him. As it is right now, it's functional, but it's not an original, okay? It's just, he just wanted me to get it working. He didn't care what it looked like. I replaced the stuff I best I could. Now the movement in it, I replaced the movement. It has an ETA quartz movement in this watch. But the problem is that it's a Hublot modified version of it for this watch, and this watch is really big. That quartz movement is really small, and the cannon pinion that holds like the hour and the minute hand up, it's longer on the Hublot watch than it is on the standard movement. So I had to actually disassemble the entire quartz movement from a replacement movement I bought that was brand new, an ETA movement, and I had to put the cannon pinion from the old watch into this one, or so that the cannon pinion would stick up far enough past the dial that I could put the hands on. If I just put the dial on like a replacement movement, the cannon pinion was like below the surface of the dial, meaning the hands would be like under the dial, okay? That being said, I had to rebuild this watch basically from like the ground up to get it to work. And it works. I'm so happy it works. It doesn't run when it lays on its freaking side, and I don't know why. As long as you wear it and you keep it flat, it runs. And it is very striking. Now, let's talk about this watch as it is before I fixed it and probably ruined it. But let's talk about it a little bit. It is a 3-hander with a date. The date is supposed to be black. The hands are supposed to be wider, okay, except for the second hand. That's correct. We talked about that. Like I said, it's made out of a cheap resin, okay? And like I said, it is soft and it feels really, really cheap. All right, it's got these proprietary screws in it, except for the one that's lost. The case diameter is 45 millimeters. That's a honking big watch. Every Hublot's big. This is like, it's big. I can't pull it off. Like it sticks out beyond the width of my wrist, but that's what it's supposed to be. The lug length is, holy geez, 55 millimeters. Hublot has this like proprietary thing where their rubber straps like socket up into the case and then like screw down with more Hublot proprietary bolts. I don't know, that's just the way it is. The thickness of it's good. 10.8. If it's bigger than that, this watch would be unwearable. I had to go out to the garage to get these calipers, and I bumped it twice walking through the garage. That's how big it is, and how unused I am to wearing a watch this big. The strap, not that it matters, is 25 millimeters wide. 25% bigger than your standard strap. That's a big strap. It is just, I mean, it's plastic. It's a plastic watch. There's not really much to say about the finishing on it because it's cheap in quartz. It doesn't weigh much and it's plastic. It's comfortable to wear. Like my hand is on, the strap is on the tightest one, and that's the only one that fits me. I have a 6.5-inch wrist, and that's, you know, good. That's fine. I can live with that. Now, the strap is some sort of weird, cheap plastic resin, and it has cracks all in it. I could take where this thing is torn and just like rip it, I have no doubt. Also, Hublot rubber straps have these ridges in them. Those things pick up and fill up full of dirt and grime worse than any watch I've ever seen. You could take a solid gold, beautiful Hublot watch and look at its rubber strap, and it is full of like dirt and barbecue sauce and like hair and dandruff, like everything gets stuck in it. I don't know why they flip and do that, but they are almost impossible to clean. Like any sort of abrasiveness you do to get down those little cracks is gonna like erode the rubber. It's like, do you clean between them with a little pick or something? Like, I don't even know. I'm not even gonna mess with it. He's gonna get it back dirty. It's the way he gave it to me, that's how he's getting it back. It's just a normal strap. It's got 2 catchers on it. It's got its plastic clasp. I mean, buckle. I said clasp. It's not a clasp, it's a buckle. Plastic buckle. The crystal, like I said, it's, I don't know, man. I think it's mineral glass. It looks so bad. It's so scratched up, it impedes your ability to look at the watch at certain angles. Like if I look at it from the side, I can't see it because of the scratches. I gotta look at it dead on center. I would replace this if it was my watch. I would put a sapphire crystal in it. I don't think there's anything special about this crystal. It just looks like a normal crystal to me, except, you know, it's made out of a piece of crap material. The dial of this is Hublot Atelier and not for resale and Swiss made. Love the dial on this watch. I love the black minimalist look of this. I wish it had some hour markers on it. You can kind of reference what hour it is by the little bolts around the perimeter of the watch, but they're not perfect. And I'm not used to reading a watch that doesn't have hour markers on it, so I'm too dumb to look at it. I have to like do calculations, like brain calculations, every time I look at this watch. This dial, man, this watch has a vibe. I'm not gonna lie to you. This watch just being all black with that red second hand that I didn't align correctly, by the way. It's a thing. I like the look of that. I like that idea. I think the style of this watch, I think it's the best looking Hublot I've ever seen. The hands are these like beveled sword hands that are on here, and they're the same as the original ones, but the original ones were like twice as wide, which looked better. I wish I could show them to you. I just don't have any way to like film them up close, but they did look better on there. They're very long, and I love that red second hand. I think that was really a good choice. Now the hands have no lume. There's no lume on this watch. You're not gonna be seeing it in the dark, okay? The calendar wheel, which was black, is now white because you can't buy the black one. Like it only exists in this watch for this movement, and you just can't buy it from Hublot. Hublot would be like, why do you have our watch? Like that's ours, that's our property, give that back to us. So you like can't send this off to get it serviced with Hublot because it's stolen goods basically, and no reputable watchmaker is gonna work on like a cheap quartz watch. Maybe they will, I don't know. Owning this is kind of crazy. It's like owning like contraband or something. This is a terrible watch in terms of its build quality. I trust this watch basically none. The quality is less than a $50 Casio. Like a G-Shock, I don't even know, dude. Maybe like an F91, like a $16 watch. It does have a Swiss quartz movement in it. That's good. It doesn't run when you lay it on its side. I don't know why. It's brand new. It's new old stock. But it's a cool watch, man. The story behind this watch is just so fantastic. That some dude decided to trade like a $10,000 plus watch for this, or he died. Those are the two things. Two things that happened. Maybe he could have forgotten. He could have forgotten that he sent off his prized watch to Hublot and that like he needed to go pick it up, and he just kept this. I don't know. I like this watch. This is the only Hublot watch I would ever wear. Now, like I said, it doesn't have a value. It's worth between like $1,000, $2,000. He paid like $1,200 for it or something. But I see people like that say it's worth $10,000, $12,000. I don't know how much it's worth. Enough to worry me when I wear it because it's not mine. I'll say that. I don't want to mess it up any more than I already have. So this watch, who is this watch for? This watch is not going to impress anybody out on the street. Nobody off the street is going to think this is more than a $20 watch. Will it impress watch people? Yeah. I think this watch is the holy grail Hublot to own, and maybe the only cool Hublot anybody would ever buy. Now, I've posted this watch on watchrng before a couple times when I wore it on a few other occasions, and people were like, this is the only Hublot I'd ever wear. And I'm like, yeah, I would wear this. If I had this, it would be in my rotation. Just because it's so dumb and stupid, and I love that. And I love that it's a cheap watch, like cheaply made. The satisfaction I get from wearing it, it's pretty high. It's not a good watch. Like I worry when I wear it. It just doesn't feel reliable or durable, right? And if something goes wrong with it, you're screwed. You can't, like this bracelet or the strap has a crack in it, a tear. Like I can't fix that. What am I gonna do, buy like a $5,000 other Hublot Classic Fusion and pull it off and put it on this? I don't know, man. You gotta find just like a stock of Hublot parts. But this wasn't designed to be sold. There's not like replacement parts. It's just, you know, Hublot made like a handful of these things. And they're like, well, they're loners. Like we don't need replacement parts for it. So like, what do you do? So it really is kind of like a collector's piece, but it's like a crappy beat up collector's piece. But I do get satisfaction wearing it. I do like wearing it. Like I said, I would wear it if it was mine, but I'd be wearing it ironically, by the way. I'd ironically wear this watch. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how good is this watch? We'll say in its original perfect form, before the hands got broken and the movement stopped working and it got all scratched up and beat to crap. It's like a 5. It's a 5 out of 10. It's a $13,000, $20 watch. Someone spent $13,000 for this, to get a $20 watch. And brother, if that doesn't epitomize what Hublot is, I don't know what else does. That sums it up perfectly. Bad decisions. Well guys, I'm RNG, there's the video if you liked it. Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to do that for me, subscribe, give me a like while you're down there, and if you have the ability to hype the video, I don't know if that's a thing, but if you can, do it for me. It's only gonna help me. Appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.